Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome back to another edition of eHeroes. Today's episode is episode 184, and I'm bringing back this amazing guest who we haven't seen in about 3 years, but she's amazing. So I want to welcome back Lee Milteer, and we're going to talk about Millionaire Smarts. So welcome.
Thank you so much, Rob. It's wonderful to see you as always. And yes, let's talk about Millionaire Smarts because I have a
Oh,
brand new club.
I can't believe it's been 3 years, but in that time, you have developed this new program called Millionaire Smarts, and I've been hearing some really good stuff about it.
Well, thank you so much. I had been running Renegade Millionaire with Adam Whitty for a while, and then Adam sold it to Russell Brunson. And so I took a number of months to really ask myself, take a step back. What is it I wanted to do in this crazy world we're living in? And you know me, I'm quite the outspoken rebel. I really decided that I wanted to only work with the people that I love the most, which are creatives, entrepreneurs, self-employed people. And that even though there have been opportunities to go connect with some bigger companies, I have this core passion. And as you know, most entrepreneurs are actually very lonely. And particularly now where we are prevented from, going to live meetings, which I honestly really, really miss
Yeah.
because that was my social life. Like all entrepreneurs, we don't like to hang around with civilians very long because it's sometimes painful. So anyway, I created this environment where I'm inviting these entrepreneurs to come join me. And each month I'm doing a mastery training. In fact, I did one last night. It was called How to Make Big Decisions with Less Stress. And what occurred to me, Rob, was that in all my life, and I have quite the history of the entrepreneurial world, I have actually never been to an event that someone taught entrepreneurs how to actually make the best decisions. Because, most people make decisions from fear.
Mhm.
And whenever you make decisions from fear, you're always going to be in a really bad position. And so what I did is I did an hour and a half presentation for them. I supplied them with a thought leader of the month. This upcoming month is going to be Dave D, who is always fantastic. And his book, which is really great, and you probably interviewed Dave, it's called Sales Stampede. Sales Stampede. I have it right here on the desk. And so I do each month for my people, my club, this thought leader interview. And you've seen this before. It, has the transcript and 4 reports from the book. And it's very meaty because I'm not a fluffy, let's just tell stories kind of gal. I like to give people real meat. And then sort of one of the cherries on the cake with the club is the fact that we do have a live question and answer once a month. And so it's sort of an unofficial mastermind where people can ask questions and I can answer or other people can answer. And I have these fabulous faculty coaches, and I'm pulling up my notes so I can not forget anybody that also contribute to the club. So it's not just me being the one mentor or coach. Steve Clark, I'm sure you know him. He's great. He's a sales psychologist. Kevin Eckenberry, who's a leadership coach. We have Melanie Rembrandt, who is a PR expert. Jim Palmer, who doesn't know Jim, the dream boat guy. And one of my favorite is James Carl Butler, who's like a walking encyclopedia, if I ever met one. And we have Diane Conkran, Travis Lee, and Keith Lee, his dad, on customer service, direct mail, and marketing. So I sort of covered, with me doing the mindset, all the other parts and the components of an entrepreneur's need. And so it's a great membership site. And my joke to everybody, and you'll appreciate this, is I'm building it. I'm flying the plane as I build it because we just started it a few days after January. And it's still in the beta perspective because, we're changing it constantly. We're upgrading platforms. We're learning. Also, a membership is a very time consuming kind of thing to do. And so you got to have the right automation and all that kind of stuff. So I'm probably learning more than anybody, particularly about the tech world, but I've had so much fun helping people get past their stuck, I'm alone. I don't, I don't know exactly what to do. I'm confused on how to leverage myself. And this is not the time to be alone. This is also not the time that you fall into, you're going to go to the Chamber of Commerce, even though that's a worthy thing for certain people, not so much for us.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it's if you want to know more about it, it is at milteer.com, and it's under coaching. You can pull it down. It says the Millionaire Smarts Club, and hopefully there'll be a pop-up. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. We're working on that. Anyway, I'm over the moon thrilled to be able to be, this is the club I wanted to be in. So this is what I created.
And to look at your excitement and passion, and I mean, I've been listening to your stuff probably for the last 30 years. Ever since I was introduced to Joe Polish back in their, late 90s. So, to now see you have this excitement and this passion about this new thing, it's incredible because, I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs and their mindset over the last 2 years, during this pandemic, these are smart, brilliant people. And it's like this pandemic just slapped them on the head and said, no, you're not gonna remember any of this. You're not gonna remember how to do marketing anymore. And it's like they're stuck. And so now they can at least go to you and say, help, because I need to be re-guided through some of this.
Yes, we're sort of, nobody likes to use the word motivation. It's, somehow got made fun of to the point. But here's the real truth for us. If we are not waking up in the morning with a really high energy of excitement and passion about what we're doing and feel motivated to do things, and you're exactly right. A lot of people came to the club and just said, I feel whipped. I feel exhausted. I feel there's no around me everywhere. And, for God's sakes, don't watch the news or any of that. And when I was deciding to do this, I really realized that I want to help other people. But like all good entrepreneurs, I have to take care of myself first. And I needed this challenge. I needed this exciting thing again, because there's no speaking anywhere, which was my entire world for all these years. So after a lot of meditation, a lot of prayers, a lot of, walking in the woods with, my dog and really sort of asking my, the universe, infinite intelligence, God, whatever you want to call that, that spiritual connection. I'm a very spiritual person. And I really asked, how can I be of service? How can I use my skills, my abilities, and actually be of service? And I'm not going to be of service to a lot of the population. I am way too outspoken. I'm very transparent. I am Captain America. I believe in, sometimes I decorate and I have a big flag, and, that's not always appropriate to everybody. So I'm very transparent who I am. You either like me or you don't like me, and that's okay, because there's enough of usums in the world, and we have to support each other. And it's a very reasonable price thing, by the way. It's 97 cents just to try it for a month for free. I mean, 97 cents. I'm allowing people to tap in for such a little bit of, change. And then it just goes to $97 a month. It can be a monthly, or you can pay up front. If you pay up front, of course, us entrepreneurs, there's bukus of fabulous bonuses involved that actually pay for more than the program. And let me just share with you, I'm going to whip over here for a second. They happen to be here. Just since I've done this program, I've interviewed this great guy called Joe Simons with the book Fishing for Happiness. This was one of the best books I've ever read. Dan Kennedy sent me this book. It's the ultimate cheat sheet to achieving happiness and fulfillment from top experts over the last 100 years. This was fantastic. We interviewed Steve Clark this month on his book, Profitable Persuasion. And then we had the Mr. Kennedy himself as the first interview with Own Your Own Freedom, with Sustainable Wealth in a Volatile World with Dr. Phelps. And here's what I've really done that's different this time. We have archived all of the past issues on the membership site. So before, in a membership site, you got the material for the month. And if you didn't get it, too bad. We're moving on. But this time we have archived everything as an enticement to people to see the depth and understanding of the people that we are collecting as our thought leaders, the mentors, and what valuable resources this club can be to just get you excited about life again. Because when I knew I was you were interviewing me today, I found this quote. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you're doing, you will always be successful. And for anybody who wants to see that, that's stuck on my bathroom mirror, actually. And that's really our secret for Millionaire Smarts Club, is that if we can get ourselves in a happy mood, there's a number of things that happen. We are highly creative. We are motivated. We're using our mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial energies in a much more profitable and fun state. We're hanging around with fun people. And we have the ability during, the question and answers to share some very, very intimate challenges we're having, that other people have those challenges, but they're too chicken to talk about it in public. And so, again, ultimately, all of us have to do things, find a reason for getting up in the morning and being so excited about life, in spite of the war, in spite of the scamdemic, in spite of the mainstream media being absolutely full of shit every single day and lying to us. And I said, I'm not going to live like that. I am not going to live like that. Again, I'm flying the plane as I build it. That's my personality, and everybody's on board with that, because in the welcome letter, it actually starts like that. Hey, we're flying the plane because we're building it, and it's going to shift. It's going to change. We're adding new stuff. We're welcoming anybody who wants things. We can't do everything you want, but we'll certainly try. So since I started it, since I pulled that trigger, I get up every morning at 4 a.m., the happiest person I have been in at least 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like how you're kind of taking the Apple Microsoft approach. You build something and improve it as you go.
I didn't realize that, but thank you for sharing.
Because we all have these devices. They're not perfect. They get, we get sent improvements every week via updates. So if you're going to spend $1,000 on one of these that really doesn't benefit your life, why not spend $1,000 on a coaching program that actually will help you make more money, to keep you motivated, to keep you accountable, and kind of motivated to keep going.
Well, also, I think that people need an example of, I'm not following your rules, dude. I'm an entrepreneur. I am creating my life with my thoughts, my actions. And, some people get turned off with the title, Rob, Millionaire Smarts Club, but they're not entrepreneurs, or they're people who don't want anybody else to be wealthy. And I don't want them. They're not the people who are aligned with my energy. But the club actually talks about all of, we talk about spirituality, we talk about your health, we talk about, the environment that you're in. So we're encompassing the real environment of a true business owner, entrepreneur. We're talking about challenges we have with getting help, challenges of keeping help, just the world is throwing us daily challenges. And everything is about, it's the same world. You just have to view it from different eyes. And I'm choosing to to view it from the perspective of no matter what happens, I'm always in charge of my own destiny. It is my decisions that will ultimately always determine where I go. And I'm not going to let other people's fear and doubt, determine my life, because this is my life.
Right. I love how you always tell people I'm not everyone's cup of tea. For me, you either like sarcasm or you don't. If you like it, you're going to be my best bud. If you don't like it, forget it. You're never going to be a customer, no matter how much you talk about me. And entrepreneurs make that mistake every single day. They don't know how to differentiate who their customers are. So they say, oh, sure, I'll take you on. And then they realize that customer is a giant PETA, which, as we all know, is a pain in the ass, but they don't know how to get rid of them.
Well, when people ask me how did I choose the name, I said I really wanted a name for the club that will either immediately attract people and immediately repel people. And in my life, because you've known me a very long time, and by the way, I was around 11 when I started my career years ago. 12 maybe. I don't have time anymore for people who aren't really not only in the same book, but on the same page and on the same paragraph. Mm-hmm. If you're not in my sphere, don't even, if there's nothing to talk about. I have nothing to contribute to you. You won't, get it. But for the people who get it, the response has been amazing. The people are sending in testimonials, or they're waking up. They're feeling enthusiastic for the very first time. They actually feel hope. Mm-hmm. And hope is not a good business strategy, by the way. You hope your technology will get better, or you hope something will happen. But the hope of your internal being of, I feel good about what I'm doing again. And so that's what we're really doing, is we're reuniting people with their spirit of adventure and fun again. And we're making fun of people, and we're just having a good time. So I'm over the moon excited that I have something that I love to do again, because for the last 2 years, there were some rough times. There was depression and hopelessness, and what the hell am I going to do with myself? There's nowhere to speak. Everybody's so timid. And one of the subjects that comes up constantly is they're afraid to sell. Yeah. Because they've been so brainwashed. And I'm saying to them, if you're really proud of what you do, if your soul, your heart, in every part of you is energized about what you do, you're a magnet to things. Those people won't, all good sales is matching a great product or service with the person who needs it. Mm-hmm. And you have an obligation to market your business, put things up for sale. And you playing timid, is that who you are? Is that the life you want to, look at yourself in the mirror and going, I have whooshed out here? Me, I'm kick-ass, take names. I'm high integrity. I believe what I say. I stand my ground. My ground is I'm not letting the outside world mess with me anymore. I'm on a path and I'm having a good time.
Well, let's talk about kick-ass, because, you teamed up with Stephen Oliver, and I've interviewed him a couple episodes back, and his whole thing is martial arts, and now he does the wealth advisory for I don't know, I forget what it is, but
for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and what? Can't even think of that word.
That's okay.
And he's got your book in his shock and awe package that he sends out to people, which is this book in the corner, if you guys can see it.
There you go. Success is an inside job. Yay. Yeah. My first book. We got a lot of books now. We got a bunch of books now.
Yeah, you got some. But that book is been revised a few times, and
yes, it has.
It's one of those books that it's something that every entrepreneur needs to have on their shelf.
Well, success is an inside job. A quick story about that. I had paid someone stupidly to have a best-selling title for me because I was so green and naive and, stupid at the time. And I paid this guy, and the book title that he came up with was Feel and Grow Rich, which in 90 days, I instantly got sued by the Napoleon Hill organization. And my publisher freaked out, and I went, oh no, let's don't freak out. We're going to bow to their wishes because they got big lawyers. We don't. And we only have like 100 books in, stock. We've already done that. So let's change the name. I did a survey, and I wrote a bunch of names down. I sent it to like 100 people. And the book ended up being titled Success is an Inside Job. And by the way, Dan Kennedy told me not to name it that. It was too much of a cliche. 12 years later, 12 printings later, Success is an Inside Job is still rocking it. We sell lots of them. And Stephen Oliver actually buys about 100 every 2 months for his shock and awe package, which we're very grateful for. And I love Stephen. I met him in Chicago at a Dan Kennedy private event. Mm-hmm. And he and I were sitting next to each other, and he leans over and he says to me, I like your Rolex. And I said, I looked at him and I went, and I like your Rolex. And we just bonded at that moment over Rolexes. And then, we had lunch together, and we just became really deep, good friends. And he's been one of my Millionaire Smarts sponsors for my other company which is a done-for-you content provider for coaches. Mm-hmm. He's been a sponsor since 2003.
Wow.
So when I started that content producing program, because, by the way, 4 or 5 people have gone in competition with me for this over the years. None of them have lasted more than 3 months, because this is a serious machine to get this content out, and all, membership sites and stuff. So Stephen is one of my favorite people. He's brilliant, and talk about kick-ass. When I go, he asked me to speak at some of his mastermind video things for his members. And I mean, there is no holding back of the truth. This is the nicest thing I can say.
It's funny just to watch you, because I can see more energy now from you than I have in years. It just seems like you're more alive. You're more in control, and it's that never surrender attitude.
It's also clarity. You see, everybody's so confused about what to believe. Mm-hmm. And I, as you probably know, I am a clear intuitive. And my gut is very, very strong on this is good, this is not good. And I have clarity for the first time in 2 years of I'm going forth without partners. Partners were nice. They were fun. We made a ton of money. But honeymoons are pretty short with those partners. And most of usums aren't really designed to abdicate our world to other people and things like that. So I've pulled everything back into my own control. And by doing that, before I pull the trigger on things, I say, do I really want to do that for a long term? Or am I just doing a money play? And I grew up super poor, a farm 1.5 miles from the nearest secondary road, Chuckytuck, Virginia. My father was a warrior, and my father's information to me was be anything but normal, be anything but average, and you're a little warrior, go for it. So I get to be a warrior now, and I love, what I'm doing, and it's working. So I'm happy.
Yeah, but then there's skeptics out there that are always saying, "Oh, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't do that. You should." And I'm like, "Get the hell off of Facebook and stop following me then."
Well, I have blocked over 1,500 people on Facebook in the last 2 years.
Wow, that's incredible.
1,500, because if you were going to start the day with BS and tell me what I should do, I don't even argue with you. Maybe in the beginning, because nobody knew what to do 2 years ago because everyone was so crazy. But I just block you. And this is the attitude I'm pretty much taking about everything. People want to talk about being a victim. You're not my people.
Right.
My people are people who are going to make a difference on earth. We are the natural leaders.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta follow people who have visions and determination that no matter how bumpy the road, we're still going to get this plane off the ground and go where we want to go. And nobody has a clue how long they have left on earth. As you know, my husband was killed on Christmas Eve many, many years ago. And the one thing that really changed my life about that, other than grieving him and losing him, was he was the kind of person who was always talking about, we're going to do this in the future. We're going to do that. We never got to do those things.
Right.
So that shifted my perspective of, I don't wait anymore. I don't wait because I have no guarantee. I want to be around people and environments that make me feel good and enhance my brain, my heart, and my soul.
Right.
So everybody has a choice every day. They can follow the news and be completely depressed. And that is why so many people are drinking and going to drugs and abusing their, people around them, because they feel so helpless. And it really is, you got to go down to your feet, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and let's go. And the caliber of information that you put in your brain every day always determines what your attitude and mind is, which will then determine what choices you make. Can you pull the trigger? And also the number of people that you associate with. I deliberately, I'm the luckiest human being on earth, because my real job is to associate with thought leaders and interview them and read their books and then use their stuff.
Yeah.
I feel that I won the lottery of basically opportunities in life.
Because this is for me, it's like the greatest job, because every time I interview somebody on eHeroes, I learn so much, so I'm getting the benefit. I'm getting to share the benefit to others. And to me, I mean, I've been almost 200 of these episodes, and this is just fantastic. People say, well, why do you continue to do it? You've interviewed all these people. I said, because it's the knowledge that I'm gaining every time I interview somebody. They don't get it.
Because that person isn't a learner. Mm-hmm. So last night when I was doing the thing about making decisions, I really clarified with, the members. I said, look, we are learners. We are also the kind of people that at the end of the day, when we have accomplished something, makes us the happiest. Where I've gotten, I don't really hang around with them anymore, but my friends used to be sort of like, oh, well, let's just go hang out and sit down, have a drink and relax. And I'm going, oh God, kill me now.
Yeah, I don't relax.
What to do?
And I don't drink it.
And I don't drink. So I want to be in a position that I'm learning, and that I'm, just like you said, you're sharing, and you should never give up. People love your, hero thing. Michelle Pippin and I are friends, and she talked about you the other day. So, people know who you are, and you're helping people. And so of course you would never give that up.
Right. And, as to your book, Success is an Inside Job, a couple of my books were the same way. I shared them out to people, and they're like, this is a book. What are you going to do with it? And then I'd send it out there, and it became like one of my most successful books. Don't care what other people say. Do what you're going to do. If it doesn't make it, it doesn't make. I mean, but the thing is, if it makes you successful, then people are confusing.
So the world's sort of dividing. I think it's dividing between learners and doers, mm-hmm. and victims and whiners. Yeah. I mean, you can use this with your sarcasm. The world has divided, and it's completely dividing more and more. There are people like us who can discern truth from the falsehoods that we're being told. And it is being pumped into our system in commercials, on regular TV shows, in movies, in magazines, in newspapers and newscasts. the agenda,
Mhm.
to make us shift to accept certain realities is so strong that unless you have that learning ability within you to discern between truth and falsehood, a lot of people have fallen prey. And let's face it, most people really want someone to tell them what to do.
Mhm.
My joke is I barely take suggestions, much less directions. So if you like that kind of personality, you will love me. If you don't, you won't love me. And when people sign up and they're in and they see all this, if it's not for them, they drop out instantly. And we wish them well, but thin the herd.
That's right. And this is what makes you an e-hero, and you've been doing this a long, long time, and you'll continue to do this because it's the right thing to do. So for all those that are listening, thank you. We'll see you on the next episode.